For some of the most pivotal years of my life, tears were tucked back and hidden behind a masquerade of being tough, being a warrior, someone who could hustle, work hard, and get things done. But it wasn't until I started to get more in tune with who I really am that things took off in my business. Welcome to I Might Cry, a podcast exploring how heart, mind, body, and spirit are all deeply woven into the way we do business. With guest interviews from experts in business strategy, therapy, emotional intelligence, the human body, and so much more. I'm your host, Elizabeth Marks of Almond Leaf Studios. I've been capturing luxury weddings around the globe for decades and now have the privilege of educating others on how to build and grow profitable business doing what they love. I'm on a journey of self-discovery, of becoming more of the uniquely beautiful, messy, and complex human that I was created to be, and I want to invite you to do the same. Join me on this adventure of uncovering the walls we've built that keep us stuck in patterns of limitation so that we can journey into living life with arms and hearts wide open. Let's venture into this together. I will never forget that first conversation that I had with Elise, who is my OBM, my integrator in my business. If you're not sure what an integrator is or an OBM, I love the book Rocket Fuel. Even just read the first 2 chapters. It'll help you define a little more of like who you are and the role that you play in your business and how you can choose to be supported. They talk a lot about the most successful businesses in the world have these 2 different roles that are super different. Like each of us, Elise and I both, are created so differently and we function differently. We see the world differently, but the way that we complement each other in the work that we do is just magical. Like it's just incredible when we partner together. So anyway, read the Rocket Fuel if you're not sure what that is. But having an OBM and integrator like her has helped me change so much in my business. Before we get to like all the specifics of everything that has happened and unfolded, I want to circle back to that intro conversation and just paint the picture for you so that you can know what that fear was like living in me to make a decision like this that ended up impacting my business and changing it in all the best ways. Okay, here we go. So backing way up, this was like early 2020, I believe. I had invested in my first mastermind experience ever. The investment alone was like super scary. It was a big risk for me to invest that kind of money into my own education and support. It was just not something that I had done before. I had desired to, but money just always felt tight. It felt like no matter how much we made and how many big months we had had in business, that there was just always more expenses. The money just seemed to like disappear. So taking a risk like this and investing in myself in the future of my business just felt terrifying. I remember the conversation I had it with David when I told him that I really wanted to do this and being really nervous, like, oh no, what if he says no? Or what if he has all the reasons why not? And being like pleasantly surprised and delighted when he was like, yeah, of course, babe, like you need to do this, like go for it. Fast forward to where this moment happened. I was on the way home from the very first mastermind retreat. We were able to have an in-person retreat. The person that hosted this mastermind, her name is Melissa Griffin. She's incredible. I truly love and adore her and will forever be grateful for her and the space that she created. She's even on my podcast. If you want to go way back to the beginning, maybe episode like 5, 6, somewhere in there, you can listen to our conversation about everything that shifted and changed for me in that mastermind experience with her. I say all of that because it's important to me to set the foundation, to give you the perspective of what had been happening internally, the kind of mental shifts that had been happening for me that made it possible to say yes to this conversation with Elise the moment that I decided to hire her. In that retreat, we had done a lot of different mindset work. We had done some different like healing practices. We had learned a little bit more about breath work. We did all kinds of different like healing modalities of really digging deep and understanding that the future of our business is so connected to the future of your own personal journey, your own health, that the business is truly a reflection of you. Like the state that you are in is usually a reflection of the state that your business is in too, or vice versa, that your business is a reflection of the state that you're in. So if you're in a season of like health and vitality and just like feeling amazing and incredible and abundant, then often your business also is feeling health and vitality and feeling abundant and amazing. Now, is that always 100% true? Maybe not. But there are seasons and there are times and reasons and situations where maybe that would be outside of that. But as a general rule of thumb, I still hold that to be true. I still believe that to be true in my life and in my business and in my coaching practice with my coaching clients as well. So shifting a ton of the beliefs out of like total scarcity and into really like beginning to understand the value and the importance of my time. That money is not my only resource, but time is one of my greatest assets, my greatest resources in my entire life. And really digging deep into like why at that point had I been desiring to spend so much more time taking care of myself, being with my children, enjoying my husband, enjoying traveling the world, and yet continued to not be able to give myself that permission. So I had done a lot of like inner healing that had happened on that retreat. A lot of like diving deep and looking at like the shadowy parts of beliefs or limiting beliefs that had been holding me back and like all of that, this kind of work that had been unfolding. A lot of tears, a lot of inviting healing into that practice over that weekend that we were together. I'm driving home and honestly, like almost forgot that I had already previously scheduled this call with this person named Elise. I found her on like a hashtag search or something on Instagram, like something totally random, like not thought out, just found her, loved her energy, decided to fill out her intake form, knowing like it's probably time. I need some help. I need help getting organized. This is just not my area of expertise. I am organized enough, definitely probably more than some creatives, but like that's just not my wheelhouse, is to create all of these systems, nor did I want to give the energy to it, even if I had the capacity and was really good at it. So I literally pulled over. I was driving. We were on the way home from Atlanta. I got on the phone with her at our scheduled time. We just had the best conversation. It was just an instant connection. It was easy. It felt good. My like intuition was just like screaming yes. I don't know about you and what your human design type is or how you function, move throughout the world, what your Enneagram type is, all of those different like modalities to understand more of ourselves. But I know that for me, when something is a yes, it's a full body yes. Like that is what I try to live by. This like gut, like deep in my belly, I feel it in my belly, like this like yes, or this anxiety in my chest is usually a no, or what I like to call this like full body yes. When something is a full body yes, I know it. There's no denying it. There's no questioning of it. I just know it's a full body yes. Now, a lot of times my mind starts to take over and starts to convince me all the reasons why not, like why this isn't going to work or why we can't afford this or why this and, like it will just start giving me the list of things. But on a body somatic level, I usually know pretty quickly. I usually have like a full body yes, or it's not a full body yes. And if it's not a full body yes, then it's a no. And I've learned to trust that over the years. So I'm having this phone call with her. I'm in the middle of this conversation and I'm just like, this is a full body yes. And I know it. And then immediately my mind takes over. You can't afford this. What if you commit to this and you commit to 3 months of trying this out with her and then you can't afford to pay her that? And how embarrassing would it be if you failed payments with her? What if your bank account goes below? What if? Or what if she really sees the inner workings of my business and sees how messy it is? Like, oh, I would just be so ashamed for somebody to see that I have this level of success, that I have this level of mess, right? Like my ego is taking over, like all the moving pieces are happening. My mind is trying to convince me, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Like run for your life, like be free, be safe, right? I thankfully listened to my intuition instead of my body in that moment, and I trusted and I leaned into that. And I was terrified when she said her rates were like higher than what I had ever imagined paying somebody. I just, because of the conversations, because of the connections, because of the healing, because of the influence of being in community with like-minded people at similar levels of business, through that mastermind retreat, I suddenly had the courage to take that risk and to say yes. And that rate that did feel scary to me, all of a sudden was not scary because I had just heard from another peer in that mastermind that she was paying her VA even more than that, like $20 an hour more. She was paying her, I think, $100 an hour. And I think Elise started at like 50. I don't remember the exact rates. Doesn't really matter, but paying even more, right? So I had this like, all of a sudden, this mindset shift around that too. I had something to kind of measure against of like where I was at. Now, what happened over the next year in my business since I hired Elise? She's been with me now for a couple years. And let me just tell you, we hired 2 or 3 people, fired 2. We had transitions happen. We set up systems. We set up some automations. We got really organized. We got a lot more strategic. There was a lot of trial and error, but all of a sudden I started a podcast. There was like these tasks, these things that I was able to take my mental and emotional energy off of and hand completely to her because she was highly capable, like well worth every penny of it. It still felt so scary and so risky to me, but I was able to say yes to it and I was able to take that risk and to take that leap. And you know what happened to my business that year? We nearly doubled our revenue. Like not intentionally, no like big strategic plan, no like, okay, well, hiring her is like, she's going to put her time to that. And then I'll spend the time doing this and make more money in this way. Like I had just done with that. I was just ready for the support. I wasn't even looking at like A plus B equals C and like how we're going to get the return on this investment. I was not even thinking that way. I just needed the support. I needed the freedom and the time to go back to just like enjoying my life, like being with my kids when they're little and not looking back on their childhood and wishing I had been more present. I needed the freedom, the bandwidth to be able to continue growing my business and providing financially for my children without working 60, 80 hours a week, without always saying, sorry, mama's got to do this one more thing. I've got to work again tonight. Daddy will have to put you down, or I've got to miss another weekend of birthday parties. Like I wanted so much more for my life. And reflecting back at the end of that and seeing that my revenue in my business nearly doubled, it was just like mind blowing. And fast forward to where I am today, literally multiple 6 figures for Almond Leaf Studios the last couple of years. My team runs that business. They handle it all. Like I literally work 2 to 4 hours a week on that business. That's it. That's it. No exaggeration. I work 2 to 4 hours a week on Almond Leaf Studios. My team handles the rest, making multiple 6 figures. If you had told me that that was possible 5 years ago, I would have spit my water out in your face, laughing so hard. Like, yeah, right. There is no way that's possible. I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it again. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you too. So if you're in a season where you feel like you are running a million miles a minute, you're juggling lots of different pieces and parts and moving different shoots or editorials or work, or if you're a designer, if you're a painter, like whatever it is that you are doing, putting the work that you do out into the world, if you are feeling stretched thin, if you feel like you don't know how long you can keep going at this pace, that you are on the verge of burnout, that you are on the verge of just being exhausted and run down and your physical body is taking over too, I want you to know there's a better way and that you can take the risk to be supported and take a leap of faith and trust that it might not be that like hiring said person, the first person that you hire, is going to free up your time so that you can fill that same space with new tasks that will create more revenue. Might take a minute, but what happens is the support that we hire, the support that we bring into our life creates a whole different level of freedom, of capacity, of bandwidth, mental, emotional, physical. And in that spaciousness, new ideas come, new ways of doing business. And in those new ways, those new ideas, then comes new income. And it's this beautiful cycle that just gets to repeat over and over again because the support brings more freedom and the freedom brings ideas and the ideas bring more dollars and the dollars bring more support. And then the support, it's just this gorgeous cycle that we get to just keep basking in and living in. But you have to be willing to take that risk and hire some support. Let go of a little bit of control. And say yes to handing off the tasks that you don't love doing, the tasks that you procrastinate, the tasks that you put off, the tasks that you dread doing every week or every month, every year in your business. The doors to finding profit and peace are open right now. And that is one of the biggest pieces of it. One of my favorite parts is helping you figure out how to make your first hire, where to find your first virtual assistant, learn from the mistakes that I made with my first virtual assistants that I hired with Elisa's help. We hired some other people, and let me just tell you, we've got some stories from some of them too. So learn from those mistakes as well and build this and grow this in community with other people who are also taking the risk alongside you. You can do this together and feel supported and get to have that camaraderie that I'm talking about, where I was able to say yes to Elise because I had come from this mastermind retreat. I was in group coaching settings. I want that for you too. So Finding Profit and Peace is open now. It is open until the end of this month. So if you want to get in now. We kick off beginning of next month and we'll go through 3 months of a major up level in your business. All you have to do is show up once a week to the coaching calls. There's lifetime access to the content inside as well, but even just the coaching calls is enough. So if you can handle 1 hour a week, investing your time and energy into this beautiful, amazing community of group coaching and getting yourself coached and up-leveling your business, I promise you at the end of that 3 months, your business is going to look different. So if you're ready for that. You're ready for more time freedom. You're ready to have more spaciousness. You're ready to have more money, more cash flow in your business to do what you love in your life. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to taking the risk on yourself and jumping in, diving in, joining us in Finding Profit and Peace. I hope to see you there. Let me know if you have questions. DM me on Instagram, shoot me an email, get a hold of me any which way you will with any doubt or skepticism or fears that you may have, and I'm happy to talk through it with you. Until next week, see you soon. If you're looking for more, you can find me at elizabeth-marks.com, elizabeth-marx.com, or find me on Instagram at elizabethmarks.coaching. Remember, you are enough. You are love, you are light, and you are worthy simply because you exist.